Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today we're diving into one of the strangest, most bizarre corners of internet culture, involving one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, Anne Hathaway. If you've ever fallen down a late-night rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, you know how wild things can get. But few stories are as unexpected or as oddly wholesome as the one we're about to explore. So grab a comfortable seat, and let's unravel this together. First, let's set the stage. Anne Hathaway burst into the spotlight in 2001 with The Princess Diaries, capturing hearts as the awkward-turned-elegant Mia Thermopolis. Over the years, she built an incredible career, starring in Les Miserables, The Devil Wears Prada, and Interstellar. She won an Academy Award, earned critical acclaim, and became a household name. By every measure, Anne is one of the most respected and talented performers of her generation, admired by fans across the entire world. But here's where things get complicated. Around 2012 and 2013, something strange happened. Despite her genuine talent and kindness, the internet turned against Anne in a phenomenon nicknamed Hathaway. People criticized her for seeming too eager, too polished, too rehearsed during awards season. It was a wave of collective annoyance that had no real logical foundation. Anne herself later reflected on how painful and confusing this period was, and psychologists have studied it as a fascinating cultural moment. Now, this backlash matters because it created the perfect environment for internet strangeness to flourish. When a public figure becomes the target of irrational feelings, the internet often searches for explanations, or invents entirely new narratives. Anne became a canvas onto which people projected all sorts of theories. And out of this cultural soup emerged one of the weirdest, most unexpected conspiracy theories ever attached to a celebrity. Trust me, you won't see this one coming. The conspiracy theory goes like this. Some corners of the internet became convinced that Anne Hathaway and the celebrity chef Guy Fieri were somehow connected, related, or even secretly the same kind of cosmic entity. It sounds absurd, and it absolutely is. The theory spread through meme culture, playful jokes, and increasingly elaborate fan edits. What started as harmless humor slowly morphed into something that people would repeat with a straight face, purely for the fun of it. The origins are murky, as most internet legends are. Some trace it to a viral tweet, others to a Reddit thread where users noticed the two celebrities were rarely, if ever, photographed together. From there, imaginations ran wild. People began jokingly claiming they had never seen Anne Hathaway and Guy Fieri in the same room. This simple observation became the seed for an entire mythology, a running gag that took on a life of its own online. There's actually a well-known comedic formula behind this. The phrase, "Have you ever seen them in the same room?" has been used for decades to jokingly suggest two people are secretly identical. It's a classic setup that works because it's technically impossible to disprove. Of course, you haven't seen every moment of two strangers' lives. The internet took this old joke and applied it to two wildly different celebrities, creating pure comedic gold. But why Anne Hathaway and Guy Fieri specifically? On the surface, they couldn't be more different. One is an elegant Oscar winner, the other a spiky-haired, flame shirt-wearing food personality, famous for diners, drive-ins, and dives. That absurd contrast is exactly the point. The humor comes from how ridiculous the pairing is. The internet loves connecting things that make absolutely no sense, and the sheer improbability made the joke irresistible to share and expand upon endlessly. As the theory spread, creative fans got to work. They produced side-by-side photo comparisons, digitally blended faces, and mock documentary-style videos presenting fake evidence. Some edits placed Anne's face into Guy's iconic outfits, or imagined what their supposed shared secret life might look like. The internet's collective creativity turned a silly premise into an ongoing art project. Each new contribution built on the last, keeping the joke fresh and alive for years. This story is really a perfect example of internet absurdist humor. Unlike harmful conspiracy theories, that spread misinformation and hurt people. This one exists purely for laughs. Everyone involved knows it isn't true. Nobody genuinely believes Anne Hathaway secretly grills burgers on a food show. The joy comes from playing along, from the shared understanding that we're all participating in something delightfully ridiculous together. It's community building through collective silliness, which is genuinely wonderful. The most delightful part of any internet phenomenon is when the celebrities themselves catch wind of it. Anne Hathaway is known for having a great sense of humor about herself, especially after learning from the Hathaway era. When fans playfully bring up the Guy Fieri connection in interviews or online, she tends to embrace it with grace and laughter. This ability to laugh at oneself is exactly what transforms potential embarrassment into genuine charm and connection. What makes Anne's story so inspiring is how she handled years of public scrutiny. Instead of becoming bitter, she reflected deeply on the backlash and grew from it. In interviews, she spoke openly about learning to be authentic, rather than trying to please everyone. This vulnerability actually won her admiration and helped turn public opinion back in her favor. The very qualities people once criticized became sources of strength and relatability for millions of fans. By the late 2010s, the cultural tide had completely shifted. People began publicly apologizing for the Hathaway movement, recognizing how unfair it had been. Think pieces were written examining why society had turned on such a talented, kind woman. Anne experienced what many call a redemption arc, though honestly she never did anything wrong to begin with. This shift shows something beautiful about how audiences can reflect, grow, and correct their collective mistakes over time. So why do harmless conspiracy jokes like this one capture our imagination? Psychologists suggest that humans are natural pattern seekers. We love finding connections, even absurd ones. When we combine that instinct with humor and a shared community, we create these joyful running gags. The Anne Hathaway and Guy Fieri theory works because it lets us exercise our creativity in a low-stakes, silly way that brings people together, rather than dividing them. It's worth pausing here to appreciate an important distinction. Not all conspiracy theories are created equal. Many spread genuine misinformation, damage reputations, and cause real harm to real people. But this playful celebrity joke is different, because everyone understands it's fiction. The healthiest internet humor comes with a wink, an implicit agreement that we're all in on the joke. Learning to tell these apart is actually a valuable skill in our digital age. In many ways, stories like this function as modern folklore. Just as past generations told tall tales and legends around campfires, we now craft collaborative myths online. The Anne and Guy theory has no single author. It belongs to everyone who added a meme, a joke, or a clever edit. This collective storytelling reflects something timeless about human nature, our endless desire to create, share, and laugh together across vast distances and communities. Beyond the laughs, there's genuine wisdom hidden in this story. It teaches us about resilience, about not taking ourselves too seriously, and about the surprising ways communities form online. Anne Hathaway's journey from beloved star to internet punching bag and back again shows the importance of authenticity. And the harmless conspiracy demonstrates how creativity and humor can unite strangers in shared joy, even over the most absurd and unlikely of premises imaginable. Years later, this playful theory still circulates online, resurfacing whenever a new generation discovers it. That longevity speaks to its charm. It requires no explanation of politics or scandal, just pure, silly delight. Fresh fans stumble upon old edits and immediately understand the fun. In a world often filled with heavy news and serious debates, sometimes we all need a lighthearted, ridiculous mystery that asks nothing of us except a good laugh. At the heart of it all, Anne Hathaway remains a remarkable talent and a genuinely admirable person. She weathered unfair criticism with grace, continued producing outstanding work, and inspired countless people with her honesty about struggle and growth. Whether she's winning awards, championing important causes, or being the subject of the internet's silliest jokes, she handles it all with warmth and dignity. That, more than anything, is worth celebrating and remembering today. So there you have it, the strangest celebrity conspiracy on the internet, and the wonderful woman at its center. What began as backlash transformed into affection, and a ridiculous joke became a beloved piece of internet folklore. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and share your favorite absurd internet theories in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.